Welcome back to the big show. My name is James Howard. We ship pets internationally. If you find this video useful, go to the bottom and subscribe. And what we have is we have a podcast that's going to be happening in just a few minutes. I have with us Michael Davis, AE Peep, as well as everyone's favorite feline, Venmo, who's actually working on a transport to Korea, so he may not join us. In just a few minutes, we will be joining a podcast as it commences. We have on this podcast special guests from Portugal, Portuguese pet shippers who we partner with when we ship pets to Portugal, and they do the same coming back to the United States. Look, hang on. Actually, the podcast is starting. Let's go there right now. Welcome back to the big show. We have with us special guests from Portugal Pet Relocation, Ricardo and Catarina De Paulo. And Catarina is actually a special guest because she's a veterinarian and she's the first veterinarian we've had on the show. But also everyone's favorite feline, Venmo, who is going to join us, but he's got a transport actually going to Ireland he's working on. He may not chime in. I got a great question from a viewer. Thomas Kirby from Albany, New York asks, my dog will be traveling in cargo in December. I know airlines don't allow sedatives. Is there a difference between anxiety medicine and sedatives?
Yes, those are completely different. So sedatives are not permitted. We do not recommend because we cannot preview how the which effects those medicines will have once in higher altitudes.
Yeah, okay.
So it is not safe at all. One thing is if I give to one pet a sedative and I'm checking on him every second and I can control. Other thing is if I give them something and then neither other vet will be with the pet during the flight. So sedatives are not recommended at all.
Right, and airlines won't take them. Airlines, if the airline, at least on this side, if they know that a dog is on sedative, we won't take the dog. That's airline policy too. So sedatives kind of knocks you out, makes you, just put you to sleep, I guess, and just. But
of course, it depends on the dose and it depends on the pharmac that you are using. But yes, the purpose of the sedative, as the name say, is sedation. So it's not recommended. Yes. Sedatives are different than tranquilization medicine. Okay. In some cases, so each dog is different from the other, and each cat is different. So we have to look to what we have in front of us and try to understand if that animal will benefit or not of a tranquilization medicine.
Right.
Honestly, in most of the cases, we can manage that stress with the cage habituation, the previous cage habituation. So if we manage to make the pets being comfortable inside the cage with the door closed,
acclimation.
Most of the cases we don't need to add other medication.
Actually, I want to interject here. I was looking at statistics semi-recently that mentioned that any fatalities, pets, during air travel, which is really rare, but more often than not was related to sedation. And so that is prohibited. I just wanted to make that note. We say, crate acclimation helps with stress, right? Getting them comfortable with their crate, and for a dog at least, a blanket that smells like home, right? That's always helpful too. That's all I can offer up.
Yeah.
So how long does it usually take to clear in Portugal? Clear customs. How long when they arrive? Usually they arrive in the morning. Usually they leave in the evening.
Too much time.
Too much time.
The answer is too much time.
But we would say between 4 to 6 hours.
That's too long.
Yeah, it's too long.
UK, I think it's a couple hours, I think, Jessica.
Um,
They're not that long, are they?
and there's it's our struggle every single day when we do imports. Airlines take more than 1 hour, sometimes up to 2 hours, to provide us the original paperwork.
Okay, so
So
that's a
we
lot
can
of it.
start the vet check and the clearance. But for me, as a dog owner as well, and user of technology, it doesn't make much sense because everything is already digitally. So why do they need to wait 2 hours for us to have the certificates?
And
Why not
so,
start the process? And then we
yeah,
just, once your original paperwork arrives, we just provide, okay, check.
Confirm, yeah.
The people or the customs offices at the cargo terminal still type with just one finger. It takes ages to do everything. And they only start
not like me.
working at 10, then 12:30, roughly time to lunch, or no more files. They go to lunch, they arrive at 2,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a coffee only start at 2:30, and then up to 4:30. That's it. And then, if not early arrival until noon, we need to go to the passenger terminal to do the clearance. And this takes even more time because we need to leave the cargo terminal, drive our car, go to on the other side of the airport, which take like at least
Really?
half an hour.
Okay.
Always back and forth in this. So I would say between 4 and 6 hours. Yeah.
That's a long time. So, as a viewer, is there anything they can do flying into Lisbon, LIS, to assure, is there anything they can do? Obviously, if the paperwork's wrong, right?
Yeah.
That's going to cause delays. But is there anything they can do other than just making sure the paperwork is right to avoid there's anything they can do to avoid four
I
to six
believe
hours of things?
having a more working shift a little slightly bigger
Morning
or with
shift?
working more hours. Yeah. And then we have, it's not a problem, it is an issue, which is direct flights from the US. If Lisbon is the first point into the European Union,
Sure.
a vet check is mandatory.
Okay, right.
And the airport vet only starts at 10. Now imagine a flight coming from Boston arrives at 6:30 or from Canada, which from Canada arrived quite early, 6:30 in the morning. Even if we have the paperwork, we need to wait until 10 a.m. in order to start the vet
Got
check.
it. Good to know. Good to know. So
Yes.
the timing, the arrival of that flight should be 10 a.m. or after, if because no pet owner wants to have their dog, they want their
Yeah.
dog or
And
cat
sometimes
right
it's
away.
difficult to explain this to owners, why it takes so long. Always speak on the phone. So many customers ask, what's the
Really?
process? Well, give me a call so I can explain, because in writing, it's really difficult to get a full
Totally.
idea.
Got to get them on the phone a lot of times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a phone call with a customer today that just didn't, an email wasn't going to cut it. I got to call
No.
her. We got to talk about this
Yeah.
stuff. So that is helpful. How do you feel about TAP Airlines? Because we have not had the best luck with TAP Airlines. How do you feel about TAP Airlines?
Well, our personal experience,
Yes,
I have zero complaints with that. Everything all the time went without any setback or any. Actually, this like 2 days ago, we had 3 shippings between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. in the morning, all of 3 with TAP. One to Brazil, one to Poland, and the other one went to
United States?
in the United States, to San Francisco, of course, because
Oh,
we do
really?
have a direct
Okay.
flight to Los Angeles now. TAP for 6 months ago, I believe, a
Okay.
direct flight to San Francisco. Yeah, and we shipped to San Francisco, and everything went
All right, that's
smoothly.
interesting. So obviously exporting from LIS, that you have
Yes.
no problems with TAP, but we've used them 3 times out of the United States going back into Portugal. And first of all, do they transit through? Like if you want to go to Paris, can you do a TAP transit through?
No,
Okay.
not
Okay.
Lisbon must be the final destination, unless
Okay.
you want to ship
Good.
to the islands, to the Portuguese islands. But what we do is
I see. Right.
we board them for one night and ship the next day.
Okay. And just FYI, yeah, on this side, we'll book the flights, and I think a couple times they just needed paperwork at the very last minute, and we had to scramble a couple times at the last minute. Now that's United States, whole different thing, obviously. You guys are Portuguese, so I don't know. I don't know why it's just, but it is. We've had
Perhaps
not.
because the main hub is in Lisbon, I'm not sure.
Sure. Yeah. I'm
But
just
actually, it's
curious.
curious because we do have we TAP, as you know, from Washington, Boston, New York, Newark, direct flights to
Yeah.
Lisbon. Now, and I would say 6, 7 out of 10 imports, so from the US to Portugal, is via Frankfurt with Lufthansa. So there is no direct flight. First, the air flights are not the most cheapest ones, but perhaps, I guess, as you said, the service they provide in the US is not the best one.
So Lufthansa is kind of our go-to as well. Like just they're pretty, no, not perfect. No airline's perfect, but they are they just take all the different breeds, as you know, and and that's it. They take all and they go to a lot of places. They go a lot of places. They probably go more to locations, right, than any other airline. Do you know any airline that goes to more locations than Lufthansa? They go Middle East and Asia and all through Africa and South America too.
Actually, the one who has more is Turkish. They say is Turkish advertisers. They fly to the more destinations than
Is that
any
right?
other company.
Do you
Well,
use
at
that?
least is their advertising. I'm not sure. Okay, the advertising. So the airline we use the most usually between Lufthansa and Emirates. Okay, because to the Middle East is always or most of the times with Emirates.
Okay, and you don't use Turkish Air that much?
Not that much.
Their reputation is not that great. So what is Katerina? What do you do? I mean, no, you're a vet. We never had a vet on here before, but what do you do?
When the animal arrives in Portugal, I'm not offering, but we have a service which is a first appointment once they come to Portugal, once they arrive, for me to check if everything is okay with them, to reschedule their vaccination and deworming treatments for all the year, because in Portugal we recommend some different vaccinations when comparing, for example, with United States and other countries. So it's important to explain to owners what they should also do here in Portugal to try to achieve the well-being of their pets.
It's almost like a complimentary consulting that's like you mentioned on your podcast. It's just nice to have a vet hanging out. We're always trying to find vets that are kind of on our team. When people come to us, that we can use their vet, right? But then we always try to recommend or suggest or ask them to use the vets that we use all the time. Like our own, they're not our vets.
You trust them. You already know.
Yeah, right. The likelihood that there's any mishaps goes way down, right? Or delays or headaches if we're using a vet that we've used a lot. In your podcast, all you guys are wearing black. You know that? Black shirts.
Yeah.
Really? Did you do that on purpose? Yeah.
My mother noticed.
I noticed, and I made a note. I thought that was maybe the theme or something.
But I have something to say. I was wearing a brown dress. It looked like black, but it was brown.
Oh, okay. Make a note there. Yeah, they're not all black. One brown, two black. Got it. For a while, they didn't require a rabies titer at all, but now.
But there are countries, Portuguese pets must do the ARNATT in order to export. South Africa is one case. We need to do the antibody test in order to export to South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa's really hard. Well, it's hard until you get to know it. When you're not, we've started doing. I know them pretty well now, but when you're first starting to do it, it's hard. But once you know it, I guess it isn't that hard. But once you
South Africa is a time frame.
They only
allow
30 days. Cats aren't that bad, but dogs are. Dogs are. Yeah. It's a lot of stress.
Really expensive here in Portugal to do the whole smears and the blood samples. And so on.
It's like $2,000. And so, and there for some reason, South Africans are always in a hurry, and so they're always wanting to leave like tomorrow. And every one of them, for whatever reason, is just whatever South African transfers we have, they I get out of the country. And there's always high pressure or urgency. We got to get these dogs out now. It's going to take like 6 weeks because there's all kinds of requirements.
AE Pets loves their cats and dogs.